5 minutes till showtime. Grab your popcorn. Hi, and welcome to Creator Fundamentals. My name is Dan Currier, and I am here to help you deliver your value to the world. Thank you so much for coming and joining the live stream. For those of you who are new, we do live streams here, these subscriber hangouts, every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's always great to see you guys get into the live stream nice and early. In fact, tonight, I took a look at some of the people that were in here even before we actually kicked off, and I chose some of the channel reviews we're going to be doing later from that group. So I think that might be something that I do in the future to try to reward those people who get into the live stream nice and early and help support the channel. It's great to see the same names over and over again, and I think that's a good way to kind of reward those people who jump into the stream nice and early. In some cases, they're in the chat before the live stream even starts. So I want to thank all you guys for your support. It means the world to me and the channel, and hopefully we'll have a good conversation tonight. There's been a couple things going on YouTube that we can touch on. For those of you who follow my community posts, there's a couple conversations in there that I'd also like to share with you guys here on the live stream. But first, as we always do, we're going to jump into the live stream, see who's in there, say hello, and see how everybody is doing tonight. I see that we have people who are watching from home. Some people are watching from Tim Hortons. Others I know are watching from work. It's great to have you guys all here. And let's see what is going on in the chat tonight. All right, I want to jump back to the early people here. Brown Status, Grinix, Rick Nation all jumped in the live stream nice and early. Good to see you guys. Ambi's Fresh Start, Daniel Jarvis Gaming, hello to you too. We also have Dignity in the live stream, Wolfie's Roleplay, Anthony Monda also out there. Good to see you guys. Dragon Play Z. Owen Video in the house, man. How are you? Good to see you. I'm not sure if I've had you in one of the streams yet. It's always good to see Owen. Just popping in. Good to see you. I appreciate you coming and checking it out. And hopefully we'll have a good time tonight. But if anybody knows Owen Video, you should definitely check out his channel. But he is Mr. Business. He has a very light atmosphere that he brings to his videos and his content. But when you see that guy working, he is all business. He's got, you know, an agenda in terms of what he wants to accomplish. I had the pleasure of meeting him at Vid Summit last year. Vid Summit's also something I want to talk to you guys about tonight, but that guy knows how to get it done. He has, you know, a schedule and things he's trying to accomplish, and he goes out and gets it. So good to see you, even briefly, Owen, in the live stream. We also have, let's see, scrolling, Mr. Akatak, Instant Rye Play, also out there. Good to see you guys. Matt 10L, Daniel Jarvis Gaming. I don't remember if you were up there earlier, but Corey Fiasco also in the live stream. Good to see you guys. Ninja Killer 560, Old Car Auto Guy, Willow 505, Mama Bear's Backpack also out there. Good to see a lot of you guys who come back to the stream every Wednesday night. It's great to have a community and good to see familiar faces. We see Weird City Citizen out there. Doug Hewson, moderator extraordinaire, is also in the live stream. Automoto channel. Make sure I don't miss anybody here. Cricket Wilson Harris, good to see you as well. Foul Fish. Like I said, a lot of familiar names, a lot of people that are here every week, and that is definitely great to see. Craft Beer Pours. Who else is out there? Tenzoroku. Hopefully I didn't mess that up too bad. Shadow Speedy. RTFG PS4 in the stream. Make sure I don't miss anybody. Darshan YouTube channel. Scrolling. Rodney B. Hunt, good to see you, my friend. Rosalie Muir. And I see Seriously Gaming there at the bottom, but it just did that crazy jump to the bottom of the chat. So let me scroll up real quick, make sure I don't miss anybody. Comfort Living with the Reeds, thank you so much for joining the stream. Blue Collar Dippers out there as well. RD Franklin, and I think I got everybody. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody, but welcome tonight. You know, I was doing some, hey, Fantastic Joe, also out there. Good to see you. So kind of a few things that I wanted to talk about tonight, and obviously this is the subscriber hangout. So let me know, one, how well the audio is coming in. I know on the last live stream I adjusted the mic a little bit, but I tried to crank up the volume so you guys could hear me better without the mic kind of being out here up in front. So give me an idea of how the audio sounds the way I have it configured right now, whether I need to move things around. But few different topics that I kind of wanted to touch on. But again, because it's the subscriber hangout, if you guys have any questions or any topics you want to cover, any YouTube news or anything YouTube related, definitely ask the questions in the chat and we will absolutely cover those. But there were some few things that I was looking at. I also did some analysis on my analytics today. And I saw kind of some interesting things. I know a lot of people have been talking about how for a lot of people, it seems like May was kind of a down month. So I don't know how you guys have or how your personal channels have been going. But for me, May was definitely a down month. And I heard from other people's much the same story. So what I wanted to do is look at the analytics and see if there was anything in there that jumped out. And I actually found something that was very apparent or very out of place in terms of a significant change. And that's something we'll talk about a little bit later. But I'm curious if anybody else has experienced that, because I took a look at impressions for the last 3 months and how they compared and how the change in impressions compared to the total performance of the channel to try to get a sense of where the downturn originated from. And I think I found the answer, but I want to share it with you guys, see if you guys have experienced the same thing, and maybe together with my analytics and yours, we can get an idea if there's actually something to it or just an oddity that I'm seeing. But all right, let me jump in the chat here. Audio sounds good. Good to hear. Michael Bloom in the house. Good to see you. How are you? How long will I be streaming tonight? I never really know. Typically, I'll go at least 2 hours. Sometimes I go 3 hours. Usually don't go beyond 3 hours. But I usually try to stretch it out to 2 hours. So that's what you can probably expect. Daniel Jarvis Gaming, any tips to get to 200 subs? I have a whole channel full of tips that can help you get to 200 subscribers. The biggest thing is don't be in a hurry to get to 200 subscribers. Don't focus your efforts on how to get 200 subscribers. Focus your effort on making small improvements over time by applying best practices with every single video, every single description, every single title, and every single thumbnail. By applying those best practices with each video that you make and striving to make some improvement with each video, eventually you will get to 200 subscribers. When you do, you will be that much more prepared to get to 500 and 1,000 because you are constantly focused on improving what you're doing and focusing on the best practices that have been absolutely proven to help channels grow faster than they otherwise would. I know there's information out there from certain sources that indicate that, you know, certain things like keyword research and whatnot are not as important. But for small channels, I think that they are still absolutely important, and they're absolutely something you need to learn how to do and maximize on your channel to help your channel grow and get to those goals like 200, 300, 500, 1,000 subscribers. The reality is there's a lot of videos out there on how to get to 100 subscribers or how to get to 500 subscribers or even how to get to 10,000 subscribers. But the reality is a lot of that information is the same. And people want a really sexy answer. They want something that is, you know, some super secret formula for growing on YouTube. And the real way you do it is kind of boring in the sense that it's not some amazing tip or trick that just enlightens you to, oh my goodness, this is how easy it is on YouTube. YouTube takes work. But if you continue to apply small things, small best practices repeatedly over time, you will absolutely see growth on your channel, and you will be very amazed at how quickly you can progress along in growing your channel than you would without applying those best practices. So my tip on getting to those 200 subscribers is definitely check out some of the videos. I think I've done a video on how to get to 500 subscribers. Not sure if I did one on 100, may have even done one on 1,000. But if you just go to my channel and you search for subscriber on in my video list, you can find a number of videos that can help you with best practices that you should be implementing to help you get more subscribers. All right, so everybody says the audio sounds good. Thank you so much for that feedback. I appreciate it. Corey Fiasco says May was a down month. For anybody who's asking for channel reviews now, we will have another call for channel reviews a little bit later. Like I said, I've already picked a few that I'm going to do when we first kick off the channel review portion of the live stream. But I will select a few more later on, and I will make a call to you to request the channel review at that time. So until we get there, until I make that announcement, asking for a channel review is not going to get you closer to that. I just prefer to keep that out of the mix. So otherwise, some people keep asking for channel reviews over and over again because they think I didn't see the comments. I do see the comments, but just for organization's sake, we're going to push that towards the end of the live stream. And then we will open it up. I will verbally let you know that we're going to take some channels to live stream, and then we'll pick them out of the crowd. All right, Gaming with Havoc, what's up? What's going on? Good to see you. I also see After Dark Analysis. Good to see you on the stream as well. After Dark Analysis says my subs are up, but everything else is down, which is the opposite of the way it normally is. Yeah, so you know what? I'll see if I can... Let me see if I can bring up... Give me just a moment here, and I'll bring up my spreadsheet. Bear with me. So in addition to the analytics that YouTube keeps for us, I also keep a spreadsheet full of a bunch of other analytics or just data that I want to see in a particular way. So I did this this analysis of just some of the information that I was seeing for the past few months on the channel. And one of the things that I realized today, for those of you who have seen the old school analytics and then the new stuff that they're doing in YouTube Studio, I kind of feel like I need a combination of the two of them to really get what I want. So neither one of them is quite giving me all that I want. Like, I love the impression information that they're giving us now in the new one, but they still aren't providing a lot of the raw data that I appreciate from the old analytics to kind of see everything the way that I'm used to seeing it. So I wanted to see, let's see, channel review. See if I can show you guys this and see if there's any way in the world I can actually get it to fit on the screen. Let's see if we grab that. Let me see if I can make that work. All right. So for those of you guys who may be interested, I don't want to bore you too much with analytics and stuff, but just to give you a general idea of the kind of stuff that I do or that I like to do to keep track. So this is some information that I took because what I saw was a drastic downturn in views in May, and I wanted to understand exactly why that was happening. So as you can see here, we have March, April, and May. You can see I was getting 1.2 million impressions in March, but only 827,000 in May. From April to May, I had a 41% decrease in impressions for my channel, which I thought, hey, that's kind of unusual. I wonder if, you know, like my click-through rate was really low, so they're just not putting my videos out there. But no, click-through rate right here was consistent throughout those. My average view duration for the most part over the last 2 months at 3 minutes, 10 seconds was fairly close. I'm putting out pretty much the same number of videos every month, but look, we went from 71,000 views down to 49,000 views in a month. You know, month over month, that was a 33% drop from last month. You know, so then I was like, okay, what other information can I pull from this? Now, for those of you who follow the channel, have followed the channel for a while, you'll know that there was I had a individual video that performed exceptionally well, and it had, because it kind of took off way above the other channels, it was driving a lot of the views for my channel. In fact, in March, it was actually driving 44% of the total views of the channel because it was getting so many views. So because of that, I wanted to understand the analytics without that particular video to see whether or not it was simply that, you know, viral video, if you will, within my niche. It wasn't a, you know, a global viral video, but if I took that out of the mix, what was happening? And even down here, if you look, so my views were actually taking out that one video, that one really popular video. My views were increasing almost 3% from March to April. And then May, bam, 19%, 18.5% drop in the views on the channel. Now, the biggest thing that I noticed and what I wanted to share with you guys up here. So we took a look. These were kind of the high points that I found. Impressions dropped by 44% in May compared to April. Okay, that could mean there could be a bunch of things there. Average view duration stayed around 310, 308, 310. Click-through rate remained constant over those months. Suggested video, which is where all of us want to be, actually increased by 4%. And YouTube search, which is something that I kind of pride myself on, being able to rank my videos and get people to view them that way, increased by 7%. But then we look down here, my browse feature, my videos that got views from browse features dropped by 10%. So it's that browse features that was kind of eye-opening to me, because it was in direct contrast of everything else that was going on. So it seems like impressions related to browse feature were the ones that I took a heavy hit on, and seem to be partially to blame for the big decrease in overall views that I was getting on the channel. So I don't want to leave that up there on the screen too long and completely bore you guys, because you know, not everybody is totally into the analytics, but I wanted to share that with you guys. I did see super chat come in here. Just want to recognize that. Dusty Porter, thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks again for the guest in on the podcast, Dan. So for those of you who might happen to follow me on Twitter, which is twitter.com/creatorfundies, Fundies, or on Instagram /creatorfundamentals, you may have seen the video that I put out, which I actually recorded in my car just after I did the podcast with Dusty Porter. So he gave me a call and was in a bit of a tight spot because he had a late cancellation. So I was happy to get involved with his podcast for the second time. Hopefully many more to come in the future. But it was kind of a funny story to me, because I had to do it in the car because I have a day job. So I actually did the podcast on my interview, and my main car that has a nice phone mount in it, so I could put it on the windshield and talk to the phone and do all that. It was kind of a comedy errors. I didn't have my headphones with the mic that I normally have. I didn't have my car because I brought it into the shop because it had an issue from when I originally bought it that I was trying to get fixed, and they had a part thing, so they ended up keeping it an extra day. So when I went out to the car to get ready for this podcast, it was like 100 degrees inside. So I moved the car, I jumped in the car, I moved it until I could find a place where there was some shade. So I parked it under a tree, and lo and behold, under the tree, there was a nest in it, and there was a bird flying back and forth, and the babies were going crazy. I'm like, this is going to sound real good in the background of the live stream. But luckily, the birds died down. But then I turned the car off to do the live stream, and at the end of 30 minutes in a car, this is why they tell you not to leave your dogs in an unattended car, because it gets hot really, really fast in a very short amount of time, even though I was blazing the air conditioning before I actually turned the car off. So it's kind of a funny thing, but I think it's just one example, and that was kind of how I phrased it on social media, which, you know, sometimes that's how stuff gets done. You know, you take the steps to do things. You take opportunities during your lunch break if you are working full time. So there's always those little ways to actually accomplish things. I know a lot of people will sometimes allow themselves to have the excuse that they don't have time. But if I have time, if I can work a 40-hour career, if I can have a wife and 2 kids and 3 dogs and all of the things that entails, after school activities and everything else, and I was able to grow this channel to over 10,000 subscribers in less than 11 months, working on videos from 9 o'clock at night till midnight, and a lot of times during my lunch break, it's just an example of it can be done if you really want to do it. So don't let time be your obstacle. You can definitely achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve if you're creative and you understand exactly how to make the best use of your time. And don't get me wrong, I am not some super efficient guy who, you know, is super meticulous and keeps this tight schedule. But there are definitely opportunities out there, even for somebody like me, who's not the, you know, the super focused on attention to detail and all those things, and penciling in every 15 minutes and that kind of stuff. So it definitely can be done. Don't let time be your excuse. If you really want it, you can definitely go get it. And that's what I say now on the channel. I want to help you guys deliver your value so you can live your dream. And who doesn't think it would be a dream to be able to create content on YouTube and actually allow it to support you financially? So that was a long-winded response to that super chat, but that's what made it made me think of. So definitely hello to Dusty Porter, and thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, the other thing that I want to mention, just you might notice now, for this particular live stream, I changed the stream boss. For those of you who can see it in the upper left-hand corner, that's called the stream boss. And basically, for every, normally it's for every $1 of super chat, it does 5 points of damage. And whoever deals the finishing shot, bringing that hit point total down to 0, replaces the stream boss with their channel name and information up there. Well, for this live stream, I changed it to 10 points of damage per $1 of super chat. That means for every $10 super chat, you're definitely going to knock out the stream boss here and get your channel displayed in the upper left-hand corner until somebody else basically bids you out of that spot. So let's see here. Fallfish says hello to Dusty Porter, Doug Houston as well. Ninja Killer says hello Dusty. Got a lot of hello Dusties out there. He's a popular dude. Scrolling, trying to catch up with everybody now that I've talked and talked and talked. Let's see here. SEO, currently in the process of moving from no class to low cat class, so I decided to join and have class. All right. So Rodney says, maybe that big video has dropped some. Yes, the big video has definitely dropped. So that's why I did the comparison of taking that big video out of the mix to see exactly how that worked. And I also took a look at how... I took a look at a lot more stuff than I showed you, I guess is the best way to say that. Oh, all right, here. I feel like I'm just seeing, trying to catch up here, and it doesn't look like, I'm just trying to make sure that the stream boss is working prop. Oh, there we go. Oh, no. Why did it do that? The stream boss is not functioning properly tonight because it changed it back to me. Let's see, manage battle. No good, no good, no good. I wonder why it did that. You guys all saw that, right? It refreshed to me instead of the person it was supposed to refresh to. Come on. You know, I was going to tell you guys, too, that I was on Streamlabs tonight, and they added a bunch of new cool stuff for the Streamlabs OBS version. But I hope they didn't break this, because... Oh, no, I don't want that. Oh, I think they changed the settings here. Here, let me do... Oh, that bugs me. So, I don't understand why. So they had this thing enabled that said damage from boss heals, and that's new because I never have that checked. All right, so let me go through. I am going to go through and make sure I acknowledge those of you who should have became stream boss but did not work. So hang on a second. You're killing me, Streamlabs. You're killing me. All right. Let me jump back in here real quick and see. All right. So we have... All right, there it is. All right, so Fantastic Joe. He wouldn't have got... So 480... Yeah, that didn't work. So just real quick to call out those that did super chat. I think I might have fixed it. I think it was the heel that broke it, but I just want to let you guys know. Thank you so much for the Fantastic Joe and the super chat. We also have Let's Play RC and Hobby who provided super chat as well. Thank you so much. Sorry there was a glitch there. I hope I fixed it. And then we have Little Gems Creations. Thank you also for the super chat. My apologies that the stream boss didn't work the way I wanted it to, but hopefully that fixed it. The problem is, what they really should do is let me go in and deal damage to it manually to get it close so somebody can take advantage of it, because it actually went to... It got down to 0 and it reset the health. I don't know why you would want to do that. That doesn't make any sense to me why that would even be an option. But my apologies. Hopefully it doesn't persist that way. If I could super chat myself, I'd check it, but I don't know if it will let me do that. All right, here. Dan is the king of screens. All right. Yeah, I should have been killed there. So trying to scroll down and catch everybody up. Fantastic show. Dan's confused. Get a pencil and do it manually and announce the boss. Yeah, but I want you guys to show up on the live stream, so I'll definitely acknowledge everybody. But that should work now. I'm hoping I fixed it. Let's see. A fantastic story. All good, brother. If Streamlabs, it happens. Yeah, well, usually every once in a while it happens on Streamlabs, and it's also kind of a challenge because I'm dealing with a delay. So I get the notice when somebody does the super chat in OBS like right away, but then I got to wait for you guys to get it. And then I got to wait for the thing to update. So it gets kind of a little squirrely that way, but it's usually pretty fun. Please pardon the interruption. All good, Dan. Get some water, man. Not good being in the car in the heat. Yep. Dan, you should stream more often. You know, I've considered streaming more often and trying to find another day or a second day of the week to live stream, but it's kind of a schedule thing. Okay, so the reason stuff was down in May was because there was exams at the time, so kids had to study. But if so, Dragon Z, if it was an exam issue, then I guess the question would be, see, one of the things that you'll never get to see, but I always want to see, is what the total YouTube volume is, because that would kind of give you an idea. If your channel is kind of rated for a certain percentage of the total volume in impressions, you know, so just for example, if the total volume is 1,000 and your channel based on its activity is going to get 10% of that, or get 10 out of the 1,000, you know, do they automatically adjust the impressions based on the ebbs and flows of the total volume, or are there other factors? Because all things considered, less students viewing things during exams shouldn't cause your impressions to drop. Science Gal Aquatics, patron in the house, good to see you. Matt 10 says I need to get a green screen. Brown Status Plus, you got work and your family vlogs to make. So yeah, I don't know if you saw the one that I just did. So basically, for those of you who don't know, I have another channel. It's called The Average Dan. It's an RV camping channel. And one of the things that I've committed to doing on that channel, which is also going to help me on this channel, is vlogging our camping experiences. So I just did my first vlog and shared it on the channel, The Creator Fundamentals. So if you're ever interested in knowing what I do with my family when I'm not here on live stream, you can definitely head over to The Average Dan and check out the latest video, which is the first vlog in that series. It was actually a vlog on just the first day, which was basically our trip to camp. So I still have content to make for the next 2 days. So those will probably be vlogs in the next couple weeks. So I think I'm only going to do one vlog video per week and do it that way, which gives me content. Plus it allows me to mix in some other videos because I have some other how-to kind of videos that I have footage for that I got to do for that channel as well. So trying to make it all happen. Not a whole lot of time to do it, but trying to find a way to use my downtime productively to make content and also learn how vlogging works, all of the challenges associated with vlogging. So for people who are making vlog style content, I can provide more educated feedback and assistance and knowledge on what kind of tips and tricks and approach you should take to not only making vlog style videos, but also how to promote them the right way on YouTube and social media to grow channels that are focused on that type of content. So it was a fun experience. I already learned a lot of stuff, more in terms of all the mistakes that I made and how I had to kind of compensate for them, or what I wasn't able to do because I made mistakes. But each time I do that, I'll learn from those mistakes and try to share that information with you guys as well. So, all right, let me catch up on all of the chat here. Blue Collar Dippers, you should do live on Instagram. I could do live on Instagram. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely hop on Instagram like during the day. Obviously not with all the bells and whistles that I do here. Every time you lose health, there needs to be a punch sound. I could probably make that happen. You know, one of the things that Stream Deck, I use Stream Deck on my live streams, and that was one of the things that they added was a soundboard. And I keep telling myself I'm going to fill it with sounds, and I actually haven't got into that yet because I haven't typically used them. But that reminds me, maybe after the live stream tonight, I will add some sounds to that, and we'll get them into the mix next time. All right. Rodney said, saw it. +1 on the punch sound. No green screen. It's better with the bricks and the pillows. Yeah, that's a real fake wall behind me. That's not a green screen if anybody thought it was. That is my real fake brick wall. That's some high quality stuff right there. Little Gems Creations, I was thinking of starting blogs. What inspired you to blog? Hopefully I answered that question. But as much as I love doing the how-to and the educational material, I also want to develop my video editing skills, and which I think are just going to help me in a bunch of different ways. And you don't get to do a ton of that when you're doing educational videos. It's a lot of talking head type stuff. So I really want to learn how to do funky transitions and cool camera angles and put all that together in, you know, in such a way that tells a compelling story and evokes emotion and all those important things you want to do when you create video. So it's going to help me develop my skills, and it's also going to give me some knowledge that I can share with you guys who do vlogging in terms of what works, what doesn't, and why. New York Railfan 202, do you recommend uploading a video as soon as you're done with it, or upload it at a later date to formulate a schedule that works for you? I think before you decide when to upload your video, I think you should kind of come up with a schedule that you think you can maintain. So if you have plenty of content ideas and you don't have a problem making videos, then you can definitely upload videos as you create them. If you're someone who maybe is struggling for content, you could definitely do 2 or 3 videos in a single day and make those your single weekly video for the next 3 weeks. If that's the case, I wouldn't upload them ahead of time and schedule them that far out. I would probably upload, I mean, if you want to upload and schedule, I probably wouldn't do that any more than maybe the day before, unless you're going on vacation something and you have a need to do that. But you can absolutely kind of create videos, get them all set, and then upload them, you know, over the course of a couple weeks or whatever your particular schedule is, to be able to cover that content by like bulk creating it. All right. Oh. And let me just double check, because I'm pretty sure that I haven't added sounds on here. No, I have one button there that I'm not sure what it is. I guess I'm not sure what that sound is. Actually, let me try something here. Stream. Oh, no, okay. Just double checking. All right. Scrolling. Avid Abstraction says I like the pillows and bricks too. Got some people out there saying they're doing some blog type content. And categorize your content in a playlist is always a good thing, for sure. Doug Houston says soundboard is really cool. And for those of you who don't know, and this is probably a good segue, but for those of you guys that don't know, TubeBuddy, when you sign up for TubeBuddy, there are some additional perks you get, some member perks, one of which includes free access to a couple different... Let me get the exact name so I don't butcher it for you, but member perks, and these perks are available with any of the paid tiers, and one of them, the one that I have been using, there's 2. There's Audio Heroes, which I think it gives you like 10 downloads a month, and they have over 250,000 royalty-free music tracks and sound effects. So you get like, I don't know if the total count changes based on the paid tier that you're in. I'd have to check on that. But there's also this other thing called Juke Deck, and let's see if I can show you guys these. So and real quick before I show that, the reason that I'm mentioning it is, of course, because this live stream is sponsored by TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy is the #1 browser plugin for managing and growing your YouTube channel. There is, of course, a link in the description below, and you can download it for free. So now that I've said that, I want to show you this here, which is this. Oh, that's not the right one. Let's try that again. And take 2. And cue the correct one. That's a little bit better. All right, so this is actually the screen that I was trying to show you, and let me see if I can get a little bit better view of that. So when you sign up for one of the paid tiers on TubeBuddy, these are some of the member perks that you get. Now, this one right here, Audio Heroes, it actually has like full-length songs and sound effects that you can download a certain number per month. And then this Juke Deck does like it generates synthesized tracks. So every time you go in, it's different for everybody. But you can pick one you like, or you can like hit the refresh button, it'll mix it up and give you a different one. But these are ways that you can get sound effects and music for your videos, and it comes with TubeBuddy. Now, TubeBuddy does some really cool things for some smaller channels where they will allow you to check a little box that says your channel is of a certain size, and then they give you a pretty decent discount on the paid service. So it's definitely worth checking out if for some reason you've been living in a hole and you aren't familiar with TubeBuddy and you haven't downloaded it yet. At the very least, you should definitely download the free version. I'll throw a link in the just the chat, but there's also one in the description of the video. Definitely download it. Like I said, you can get for the paid version with the perks or the discounts that they give, you can get it for, I think it's like a few dollars a month. It's like really cheap. I want to say it's as low as like a couple bucks or something. If you, it's like a 50% off thing that they give you. So definitely check that out if you've never checked it out, and see if there's something in there that works for you. But when you do the paid tiers, you get some of these cool free tools as additional perks beyond what TubeBuddy actually offers. So highly recommend it. I use this stuff all the time. I don't just say it because they sponsor the channel, because I was using it all before they sponsored it. And it's probably in large part because I was using it. And I was so fond of it that the relationship existed that allowed me to get my sponsorship. So highly recommend it. I really can't say that enough. And I'm not just saying that because they are the sponsor. Ninja Killer, and here I thought it was actually real. Are you talking about the bricks? Oh, the mysteries of YouTube. Let's see. Blue collar dippers. Does YouTube block channels with a lot of tobacco involved? I know they block. I know from what I've heard, and again, I haven't really read the particulars on this, but I know there's been a lot of channels that were related to like marijuana use and stuff that have been hit pretty hard. I don't know if they've been cracking down on tobacco products. It all depends how they classify certain habits and whether they deem them appropriate for the greater YouTube audience. I would definitely, you can do a search for like YouTube terms of service and actually find the specifics of what they say these days in terms of what you can and can't share on your channel. Have you yourself seen any evidence of that with your channel, that they have you received any hits on any of your videos? You can definitely let us know how that's been going. Let's see. Scrolling. Guy, the IT guy, another patron. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Elite Jamaica official channel. Good to see you as well. Millie's TV time too. Hello to you as well. And we're scrolling and we're scrolling. Thumbs up for TubeBuddy. Guy, the IT guy, says $39 a year. I thought you could even get it a little bit cheaper than that. Hang on, let me... But I could be wrong, so... New York Rail says, I guess I've been living in a hole then. Definitely, if you want something that's going to help you in growing your channel, if that's something that you're focused on, definitely download TubeBuddy. I put that link. It's you can scroll up to get that. It's a browser plugin that you can put in Chrome or other browsers, and there's also mobile apps for iOS and Android. Really helps you do a lot of the things you need to do on a regular basis on your channel. So you can climb out of that hole and grab yourself TubeBuddy. Or Origin SEO and YouTube creators, they should give free balloons for signing up. I'll suggest that to Phil over there at TubeBuddy. See what he thinks about that. Pretty Italian says, hi y'all, I just started my YouTube. Do I need a certain amount of subs in order to go live? Last time, I honestly don't remember if there's a total somebody can answer that in the chat, whether there's a minimum on desktop. Last time I checked, I thought it was like 10 or 25 subs to go live on mobile, but they could have done away with that by now. But that was the last information that I saw. So if you happen to know that for certain, let the Pretty Italian know in the chat. Fantastic Joe, been using TubeBuddy since I started. Yeah, I've been using it a pretty long time. Certainly before this channel existed, I was using it on Creator or on The Average Dan. Fantastic Joe got Lifetime Pro for $39, right? Gotcha there. Ninja Killer, hey Dan, I have a question for you. With the TubeBuddy pricing, what tier do you recommend is the best for a small YouTuber under 1,000 subs and not the most rich person? It's going to be personal preference in terms of which level is right for you. What I would say is if you're looking for a paid tier above the free version and you want to get access to some of those member perks, I would start at the next level up, which I believe is Pro. Let me make sure I'm not making that up because I think it goes Pro Star Legend. Let's see here. Let me just verify. Yeah, so taking a look, and I'll show you guys real quick. And if you've never looked, if you go to tubebuddy.com/pricing, or if you just follow, let's see here. So these are, let me show you an example here about what I was talking about in terms of getting these cheaper. So you see the normal prices here, $9 a month, $19 a month, $39 a month. If you click the I have less than 1,000 subscribers, you'll see, so for the Pro version, they're offering that discount to get into the paid tier on just the Pro version. So you can see it cut that in half. It gave you a 50% discount on the Pro version. Then you have the option, if you pay yearly, that brings it down to as cheap as $3.60 a month. So you're looking at 360 times 12, $43 for the entire year. So that is definitely something that I would recommend. If you do ever happen to see the lifetime offers, snatch those up when you see. They only offer the lifetime for the Pro, but I would recommend jumping on those because they are a great way to get it a lot cheaper on the Pro level. But ultimately, what I found is the best way for these things to go, and you'll see that for the yearly you get a discount across the board. It's not just for the Pro. So for the Pro only, you can get the discount for the 50% discount for 1,000 subscribers. But if you choose to pay annually, you're going to get a nice discount on the Star and Legend as well. But basically what I would recommend is, as your channel grows, work your way up this list. There will be a time on your channel, if you continue to grow, where the Legend is a great deal and you can't live without it, because it does offer a lot of really cool features that really come into play when you have a lot of content. Some of the bulk replace and other features are super helpful, and they save a ton of time on channels that have hundreds or perhaps even thousands of videos. So in that regard, it becomes just common sense to want to get those and use the tools that they provide. And if you're not sure, if you come down here, it shows you exactly what the features are and, you know, which particular accounts they are applicable to. So I would definitely check that out. Again, I threw the link in the description or in the chat. I don't know why I call it the description. There is one in the description also, and I'm just trying to find, I'll throw that in there one last time so you guys can get to that as well. But really cool stuff. And my suggestion would probably be to upgrade your tiers over time as your channel grows and you start to see the need for some of the features that the additional tiers provide. I'm not sure what that means. The Lifetime Pro for $39. Every once in a while, they do promotional things where they offer lifetime licenses. It's not something they offer on a regular basis. So if you ever happen to see those lifetime offers, jump on them because they are a really good deal. All right, and oh yeah, right, Doug. So the channels, once you verify your account, as Doug is saying there, live streaming is available to all channels once verified, and they turn that on for you. After Dark Analysis says, can't get super chats until 1K, but that is all I know. Live started after I launched. So the other change with that After Dark Analysis is it's not just 1,000 subscribers anymore. You have to be a YouTube program partner, which means that you need to have 1,000 subscribers plus the 4,000 watch hours, plus actually get your channel approved for the YouTube Partner Program, which currently for everybody out there is looking at the end of June. We can only cross our fingers and hope that is the case. One of the other videos that I do plan on putting out, though, is on the Average Dan. Right now, the Average Dan is kind of blowing up in views, which I kind of predicted because it's very seasonally driven. I have a lot of content on there that becomes much more relevant in the summer. And the one thing that I did want to share is how I've been able to make money with that channel, even though it's not monetized. And I could have been at a complete loss and, you know, completely bummed out at the fact that the channel's blowing up, would have been a lot of ad revenue. But instead of making absolutely zero as the channel blows up, the other ways that I make money on the channel are also increasing during that time. So it's nice to have those other revenue streams in place. So when things like not being monetized happen, there's still ways to make a little bit of money to help support the channel. Dignity, the reason that I just personally I wouldn't schedule for more than a few weeks out is I feel like stuff changes on YouTube so frequently that I wouldn't want to run the risk of possibly uploading a video, you know, like now and then uploading it. Daryl Leaves has come out and said that as well. Don't you basically don't want to get it in there and get it reviewed now and then put it out a couple weeks from now. So my biggest reason for doing it is because I don't have all the answers for exactly what's going on under the hood, and I don't want anything to happen to that video during that time while it's just sitting there. But there may be absolutely no detrimental effects to doing it, but because I'm not 100% sure, my personal preference is to not upload videos I probably, unless it's a weekend and I need to like plan stuff out ahead of time, I probably wouldn't do it more than a day or so ahead of time. But if you're somebody that does it and you find that you have no negative impact on doing that, then continue to do it. For me, it's just the unknown and not quite knowing what they're changing or how it may affect the algorithm and the promotion of the video. Because when you upload a video, they immediately do an analysis on it, and I don't know if it just sticks with the video for that entire time or whether you're going to run into some kind of stale situation with the video and how they promote it if it sits there for 2 weeks before you go public. Yeah, Cricket, I don't expect that. I don't expect to see any lifetime licenses above the pro level. Only because there's a very significant price difference between the Legend, and obviously there's a lot of additional work that goes into supporting the Legend version. So who knows whether they would ever do it, but my thought is you probably won't see a Legend lifetime license anytime soon. Arthur Moorhead says, here we go again with the 1,000 subscriber limitations. Yeah, there's definitely some things you got to wait for until once you get into the YouTube Partner Program. That is for sure. Origin SEO and YouTube creators, I'm still trying to figure out all what TubeBuddy does. TubeBuddy does a number of different things. It has keyword research tools that allow you to plan out the keyword phrases that you're going to use to help your videos show up in search. It has a custom thumbnail tool that allows you to actually go in and create a custom thumbnail within YouTube while you're logged in by having that plugin installed on your Chrome browser or whatever browser you're choosing to use. There are features such as they call them promo materials that you can access via their website that give you quick access to things like your most recent thumbnail or your channel banner as images that you can download or link to directly through TubeBuddy. Also in promo materials, they have the opportunity for you to use the Google URL shortener, which at some point is probably going to change because I think Google is dropping support for that for future ones. But it allows you to organize all those short links. So instead of just sharing a link to your Twitter account or your Instagram account in your description on YouTube, you can actually create a short link, and it's going to track how many people actually click on that link to get to your other social media, which is a great way for you to really understand how you're moving traffic through YouTube and how effective links are in your description. So, I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg in terms of stuff that's available on the free version. As you continue to add some of the paid tiers versions, there's other things like bulk replacing, where you can basically search for a phrase across all your videos and replace that content. So if you have a URL that changes across the board, you can use those bulk features as well. With the Legend account, it gives you the opportunity to do A/B testing, which basically allows you to upload your original thumbnail and also upload a variation of the thumbnail. It sets it out for like 8 days or 10 days, and each day TubeBuddy will automatically swap your thumbnail back and forth and then provide you statistics on which thumbnail performed better, which can help you understand exactly how people are responding to your thumbnails. A lot of time you think you have a really cool thumbnail, but the audience is the true indicator of how successful a thumbnail is. And something like the A/B testing, it's something that's commonly used by a lot bigger channels, is going to show you which thumbnail they responded to better. So just all kinds of features like that. There's obviously a bunch of other stuff, but those are just some of the things that popped into my head that can really help you grow your channel and you know, set yourself apart from obviously somebody who's not using TubeBuddy. On a very high level, it saves you time for doing things you need to do with every video, so you can focus more time on creating your content and growing your channel. Shannon Vlogs is in the live stream. Good to see you. Glad you could come and hang out. Shannon Vlogs, another patron. Thanks so much for coming and hanging with us on a Wednesday night. And we're scrolling. Dragon Play Z. Wow, I have a lot of questions. Well, this is definitely the place to ask questions. Arthur Moorhead, I have just over 500 subscribers, and I gave up on the thought of super chat. It's just too unfair for the little guys. You know, I mean, there's certainly definitely reasons why they set a particular threshold. And yes, it does kind of, you know, it is kind of a bummer if you don't reach those thresholds for sure. But as far as super chat goes, if you're providing quality content that offers value to people, there are absolutely other ways to monetize your channel and allow people to contribute to your channel. You know, for example, Doug Houston in the chat, the moderator in the chat, he has implemented things such as a PayPal Me link, which allows people to contribute to your channel. And I've seen him accept donations or contributions on his live stream, and he's not currently in the YouTube Partner Program. So if you're interested in that kind of things, there's definitely ways you can. And I actually think, I I don't know if Doug specifically did a video on all the non-super chat ways. I know he did a really good video on super chat, but there are definitely ways to allow your followers to give you money if you are providing value to them and they want to help support your channel. So again, Drag, how many subs do you need to get ads and get sponsors? You don't need any particular amount to get sponsors. It's just in the relationships you develop with brands and what that particular brand is looking for. Ads is 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, and acceptance into the YouTube Partner Program. And let's see what else we have here. Connor Minnick, so I'm baking cooking channel. I am now selling some of our flour that is very rare to get. We make good money, but I just didn't know if I should be focusing on monetization or is this okay? Here's the thing. Anybody who tells you it's not cool to focus on monetization has, to each is their own. To me, it's absolutely 1,000% okay to look at ways to monetize your channel. It doesn't mean you're a sellout. It doesn't mean you're not focused on being a creator, but artists need to eat. Artists on YouTube also need to support their channel. Running a successful YouTube channel over time is not always cheap. If you want to continually advance the type and the quality that you're making on YouTube, it is absolutely okay. And I highly recommend looking for ways to create revenue streams to help support your channel. For the people who complain and say you shouldn't be doing that, then maybe you shouldn't be watching somebody else's content for free and expecting them to keep doing all that work to entertain you if you don't think it's okay for them to make money. So I have no problem with any channel focusing on ways to raise revenue, to support the channel, and even support them. If you're somebody who has a day job and you enjoy making content and people enjoy watching your content, then why wouldn't you want to raise the revenue on that channel to the point where you can quit your day job and focus even more energy on making the kind of content that people want to watch? I think it's just an obvious way to go. I encourage everybody right when you start your channel to start thinking about some of the ways that you can monetize your channel, and don't think you have to wait for ad revenue. If you've listened to any successful YouTuber from a financial perspective, nobody says, hey, I'm really living on the ad revenue. In fact, what they normally say is that ad revenue represents the smallest percentage of the money that I make. And that's really where you need to get to if you want to be successful, is figure out all those other ways to monetize your content above and beyond the AdSense and the YouTube platform itself. And that will absolutely be the most beneficial to you going forward, rather than focused on, I can't do anything because I don't have ad revenue. Ad revenue is such a small piece of the puzzle as you continue to grow that don't even focus on worrying about that. Plenty of ways to make money besides ad revenue. And like I said, definitely go for it. Don't let anybody tell you that you cannot, or it's not cool to make money on your YouTube channel. So just had a super chat in here. Roberto Blake, thank you so much for the super chat. Not focusing on monetization is taken out of context early on when you want to grow a channel. It has to balance priorities. Not every video can effectively do all things at once. Absolutely. Definitely when you're starting on YouTube, you shouldn't be starting YouTube to focus on money. And I think that's where a lot of people fall into that trap, and they think that, you know, when somebody tells them, hey, don't do YouTube for the money, they take that as it's not okay to do the whole monetization thing. What they're actually telling you is that it's important to focus on developing your skills way before you worry about money, because you have to have value. You have to be able to deliver value to your audience for anybody to ever want any of your products or services in the first place. So if you're new to YouTube, if you're new to video creation, you definitely want to develop those skills. I've been doing it for a couple years, and I have so much to learn, and I'm focused on trying to learn and improve my skills daily. And yes, I did think about the monetization aspects and put things in place. So when my audience started to grow, those things started to fall in place. And that's kind of what I'm preaching to you here. The biggest thing that I don't want to see is that you reach some level of success or something blows up on your channel and you're not prepared for it. To me, it's always better to prepare ahead of time, so when those good opportunities present themselves, you're in a position to take advantage of them and you're not scrambling trying to put something in place. So absolutely agree with Roberto Blake. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with the stream, on the stream, and I definitely appreciate the super chat as well. And as you can see, Roberto Blake has proven that the Stream Boss is now functioning properly. So I apologize for the early folks there who got cheated by the Stream Boss, but I did change that setting. Roberto took over the Stream Boss, and he is now up there in the corner. So that is working. That's an excellent thing. It's good to see that the Stream Boss didn't let me down completely tonight. So, Shannon Vlogs, we were talking about TubeBuddy earlier. I have a Legend, and I really like it. I use the Legend license as well, and I love it. I can't tell you how much the bulk replace has saved me time-wise, and It like I said, it's just one of those things where you don't really remember how you were doing stuff before it because you use it so often. Elite Jamaica official channel, 1.7 million plus views in the last 28 days. Is that good? Again, I wouldn't get into the comparison game with other channels. For me, that's good for you if it represents growth to you and what you've been able to do in the past. So if 1.7 million views is maybe an advancement to what you did in the last 28 days, then absolutely it's great. If you got 10 million views last week and you were down to 1.7 million, or last month, and you're down to 1.7 million this week, then that could be a sign of a change in your channel that you might want to look into. But the important thing is that of whether or not it's good to you and whether it represents growth to you. So that's how I would focus on that. Savage Scientist, thank you so much for the super chat. Just wanted to be the savage who started a trend taking down Roberto Blake. So thank you so much for that. And we need to make sure that that properly updates the old Stream Boss as well. And there always seems to be a little bit of a delay in that. So hopefully that will kick in. And scrolling. Do you have videos on the channel on how to use Streamlabs? Asks Scale Models. That's actually something that's been in the works, and what I'm actually going to do, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, the Streamlabs OBS looks like they added some stuff to the Streamlabs site that kind of offers easy installs on the Stream OBS. So I might give Stream OBS another crack and see whether those changes have positively changed. The first time I looked at Streamlabs OBS, it didn't quite fit what I was looking to do, but they seems like they've made a bunch of changes, so I'm definitely going to check it out again and see if it's something I can use with some of the additional features I was seeing on Streamlabs. So make sure. All right, here. And there it is, Savage Scientist with the takedown of Roberto Blake, the new Stream Boss, Savage Scientist. Yes, that was pretty savage of you. All right. So to answer your question, Scale Models, it's definitely in the works to do some videos on how to incorporate Streamlabs with OBS the way I have it configured, and also possibly looking into doing videos on the Streamlabs OBS version where Streamlabs is pre-integrated into that OBS product. And maybe I'll even do a compare and contrast and see how those two compare to each other. But let's see here. Weird City Citizen, I think it's true though, Doug. A high percentage of YouTube are now about the money. It's not like it was 10 years ago. I mean, I think the thing that you need to consider in that regard is it presents a great opportunity for people to to make even more content. Somebody who wants to monetize their brand and their products are going to give themselves the ability to give you guys more. You know, so I think it's a kind of a good trade-off in that respect. Doug Houston says, yes, I did do one on alternatives to Super Chat. So you can definitely check out Doug Houston's video. And that's Doug Houston YT on YouTube to see his video on the alternatives to using Super Chat if you don't happen to meet that YouTube Partner Program status. Let's see. YouTube Studio app is a must-have on your mobile device. Absolutely, I agree. And Savage Scientist, I just changed my recording style to make my videos less boring. Fantastic. Always look for ways to improve. It's always good to come up with a nice repeatable process, but at the same time, you don't want to become complacent and just think, yeah, I've nailed it, there's nothing else to improve. There's always things to improve, and you always want to be aware of that. For me, I'm constantly writing things down to improve, and it's just a matter of trying to implement them over time the best I can. So I have lists everywhere of all kinds of things that I want to do and content that I want to make and changes I want to make. And I just try to get to them as soon as I can and implement those changes. You know, because like you said, I do a lot of, or on this channel rather, I do a lot of what people call talking head videos. And I certainly want to find and explore more ways to make them a lot more interesting in that regard. So that's something that I'm always thinking about. I certainly made changes with my backdrop. That was feedback I got from Brian G. Johnson that I highly agree with, where I had, at first I had a green screen, and that was a royal pain to maintain for each video, especially in my situation with a you know, a very active household. So I had to find a way to take this small space I had and make it a stationary studio that I didn't have to keep setting up, because when I was using the green screen, I had to set up in my living room, and that didn't work well with the dogs and the kids and everything else. So I had to commit. This used to be a wall behind me with shelves and knickknacks and all kinds of random stuff that didn't quite fit what I was trying to do. And I finally decided I was going to try to make changes to it in a positive way, make it a little more interesting to look at, and kind of fit the mood of the channel and advancements. Now, that's not to say that it's perfect. It isn't by any stretch of the imagination. I have all kinds of ideas in here about how to make it better and how to change what I can do on live streams, and I will do my best to implement those over time. And I saw one, Dan is really behind. I always like to go back. I know if I'm commenting on things that are real far back in chat, I don't want to miss them. So that's why I jump back there to look at them. All right. And again, it's the thing with when you try to scroll to the bottom of the chat, it throws you to the bottom. So I purposely go super slow through chat because I don't want to miss anybody's comments or questions, because that can be really frustrating when you're in a chat and somebody, and you ask a question and it just gets lost in the mix. And we're still at a fairly decent size where we can, where I have the ability to check out everything. So I try to do that. All right, here, going to add that to the list of... Okay. I like it. All right, so we got a few channels in the mix for channel reviews. We will get to those in just a little bit. Jumping back in the... You know, it's funny because I'm looking at the chat on an actual stream thing, and I'm looking at my dumbfounded face on the actual live stream going when I'm trying to read the chat. It's like I'm drooling on myself. Yeah, the call's gonna come soon. And I'm doing it right now. I can tell my face trying to read this chat, trying to see what people are responding to. Conversation between Doug and Weird City Citizen about the #1 goal being to make money. They are business first and foremost. If you're talking about, yeah, I mean, for sure, YouTube is obviously, all companies are revenue driven. That's just the way it is. So you need to kind of get past that and kind of go with the flow, because at the end of the day, they need to make decisions that they believe are going to be in the best interest financially for the company. Now, that doesn't mean that they just ignore creators, because obviously they understand that creators are what generates their revenue, and without the creators, they have no revenue. It's all of the pieces of that puzzle are dependent. You have the YouTube platform, you have the advertisers, and then you have the creators. If you remove any one of the three, the whole system fails. So they are aware of that. It just doesn't always feel like that for every single creator when things happen or they have to make changes that they believe are in the greater good of that ecosphere, of that process that drives the revenue. So, and I've worked for other corporations in my lifetime, and it's the same thing. A lot of times they make changes that from your individual perspective seem like a horrible thing to do, but that is what they think they are doing in the best interest of prosperity going forward for the platform and everybody. No, I haven't called it yet. We will call in just here a moment for the live streams. We just passed the 1 hour mark, and we could probably do that here pretty soon. So here's the deal. If you would like your channel reviewed, please respond in the chat right now with the name of your channel and nothing else, just the name of your channel. Anybody who has a comment that matches the name of their channel, I will pick from some of those to do the channel reviews. Go. I ran out of LaCroix. Here, while you guys are listing your channels, I'm going to go grab some more water to drink. All right, how we doing here? I see a few. All right, so I need to, first thing I do is I look at a channel, kind of see where you are in the process and whether I think it would be a good value to do a live stream on that particular channel. I also need to check and make sure that your content is appropriate to bring up on a live stream. All right. And give me just a moment while I go through the list and pick some channels out. Okay. And talk amongst yourselves while I look. There are some interesting things going on here on some of these channels. And that one I got. Let's take a look at this one. All right. That one made the cut, and okay. See how many we're up to here. The first swing, I'm gonna max out at 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See what this one is. I like that. All right. And do I have you up there already? I have you up there already. Okay, and just double checking here. All right, so I got a list here. Some of these are gonna kind of be quick ones, just to highlight some areas that are kind of common, and I think they'll be kind of helpful. And then we will get this thing kicked off here. All right. Alrighty, here we go. I am going to kick off the list I have. After I get through that, maybe we'll do some additional ones, and maybe we'll do a call for anybody we might have missed. So, here we go. Let me just check one thing. All right. First channel up to take a look at is Brown Status. So there is a lot going on this channel. One of the things that I want to do for you guys, in addition to checking out this in front of me, is I want to double check and make sure you guys are optimizing for mobile as well. You're probably getting a decent amount of traffic from mobile. In a lot of cases, it might be 50% or more. So you definitely want to make sure that your channel art fits well in the format that mobile provides. So there are some challenges with this particular display that are not optimized for browser or for mobile browsing. So I would definitely bring up your channel art and on your cell phone and make sure that everything displays the way you would like it to be. So on this particular one, they kind of overlap your icon with your channel art, so it kind of shows up here and it kind of covers up part of the B and the R, and it makes it a little bit confusing as to what this actually says. It almost looks like it says own because you can't really tell it's an R. Also, obviously, all this stuff on the left is excluded, and it kind of cuts off right here. So one of the things that I would say with this is I don't know that I would include the goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers in your channel art. I would tend to make your channel art more about the value you're delivering rather than what you're trying to get back from your audience. So I mean, it's nice to share goals with your audience and you know, share milestones and do that, but I don't know that I would include that in my branding in any way. So I would probably, my personal preference on this would be to remove the goal from your channel art and make sure the remaining content not only fits in the space here on a desktop, but it also displays properly on mobile. So generally speaking, the color scheme between your channel art and your icon work together, but it looks like from your icon that you're using yourself in the branding. Taking a look at your videos. So I see in some of your thumbnails, you're included in those thumbnails, and that acts as your branding. You have your consistent purple color and your face in a lot of them, which kind of gives you a sense of that branding. But then on some of like this most recent one here, there's nothing in this thumbnail that would allow anybody to know that it's part of your channel, and I'm a little bit curious. I'm curious where you are from. That somebody's actually that somebody uses. I didn't realize that BlackBerry was still doing their thing. So I'm gonna have to watch that video. That's intriguing to me. But yeah, you kind of strayed from what you had been doing on your channel with that thumbnail. So I think the more people can understand what your content looks like and recognize your content as yours, the better off your channel will be as a whole, and the easier it will be to reach your goal without showing people that you're working on that goal. Your channel art just says making you smile every Monday and Friday. So if we hop in here to see what's going on in terms of the type of content that you're offering. Kind of an abstract description of what you're making content about. So it says here that you're in Canada. Is BlackBerry still big in Canada? I am genuinely curious about that. Because I remember when all I wanted was a BlackBerry, and then before I could even consider getting one, they kind of took an abrupt change, at least here in the States, where they kind of missed the boat on the smartphone push. So I find that interesting. Checking out your playlists. Yeah, see, I feel like there's a lot of stuff in here that uses that consistent branding, which is cool. And then there's certain ones where you kind of stray from that. Like these right here. Oh, my obsession with BlackBerry. So apparently you have a lot of content related to BlackBerry, so maybe that makes more sense there. And I don't know if these are Huge BlackBerry fan, okay. But like here, you did it, the same kind of thing, but you have the purple background, which is great, and then you kind of strayed from that in your recent content. So I would say that these are more representative of the brand and what you're trying to do, and I like those, and I think they tie into your branding a lot more, so I might consider those. And then on your home page, just because we're already doing the opposite of a quick review, instead of the created playlists like this, try to include the single horizontal playlist. That's going to list out your thumbnails and your titles and give people the opportunity to see a lot more of your content, really get an understanding of what you're about, and see, maybe they'll find the video that is interesting to them, that gets them to watch more of your content and subscribe to your channel. All right. All right, and we're going to jump to the next channel here after a quick peek in the chat. So the next one we have up is Rick Nation. Now, there's definitely some stuff on this that I love and some stuff on here that I don't love all that much. It looks like a very professionally done channel art. However, there's a couple problems I see here. First thing, Instagram and Twitter links in your channel art, I would get rid of these. If you're trying to focus on growing your channel, I would focus on growing your channel and not redirecting people to other social media. There may be a time for that in the future, but you have social media over here. We got social media links down here. If you want to grow your channel and focus on growing your channel, I'd get rid of all those external links or that guidance to go look for stuff in other places and focus solely on growing on YouTube, which means I would get these out of your channel art. I would remove all of these except a link to subscribe to the channel itself. And then I like the idea that you kind of have a couple different things, kind of this more urban setting, and then what looks like maybe a fireplace or a fire pit. But the other thing that you have to consider as well is this is not going to look good on mobile at all. You're going to cut this off probably somewhere mid-adventure and maybe somewhere between these two links here. So I would get rid of these. I would find a way to maybe center the travel, adventure, explore, or, you know, get it in this basically in the middle area here so that it appears nicely on mobile. So when people come to check out your content on mobile, it looks good to them. Now, I feel like the other thing, you have the same general lettering on your icon, but you do kind of deviate from it a little bit with the black outline versus the white outline. Up here, you kind of have this, you know, blue to light blue fade going here, that you haven't really carried into the icon as well. So little things like that, I would try to keep consistent to really build that brand recognition and let people know that it is, in fact, your content. Looking at your videos, we'll take a look at what you got going on here, how I made my old thumbnails. All right, it seems to you have you in the lower corner here, and I can't tell if instead of having these images of you where it shows like your entire torso and it makes your face really small, I would try to get like a tighter face shot so people can actually associate your face with your brand, if that is going to be the method of branding your content. Also, the font on these, it's consistent with what you got going on up here, but it's way too small. And I see, at least on some of these, you've gotten into the habit of actually repeating the title on the thumbnail. You don't need to repeat the title. Your goal is to draw enough attention to the thumbnail to get people to stop and read the title, rather than simply trying to restate what your title is about. A good thumbnail is something that is going to attract attention, among other thumbnails, and it's going to do so quickly. And if you have, 10 words on a thumbnail, people aren't going to stop to read all of those words. Try to figure out what the focal point of your video is, what that main key ingredient is that people may want to watch your video for, and use it to formulate a thumbnail that gets the attention long enough to slow that person down who's scrolling through their phone and say, hey, what's in this video? Let me check it out. The consistent elements that you're using in terms of the font is great. You just need to make it a lot less wordy and get that font a lot bigger. So in general, closer shot, larger view of yourself if you are the branding, and also less text and bigger text is what I would recommend there. Playlists, looks like you do have some playlists, like videos. The thing that kind of concerns me here is that you have very wide content, in the sense that you've done, it looks like you have, let's see, 10 different playlists with only a couple videos per playlist. And so that kind of creates a little bit of the idea that people may not have the opportunity to subscribe to your channel based on a given video and then be able to see other videos about that particular topic, just based on the wide range of tutorials and things that you have going on here. So let's see your recent stuff. Thumbnails in Photoshop, color grade in HitFilm Express, special sub Orange Beach vlog, how to make a free intro, exploring the new maps. Yeah, I mean, I would try to focus in on a particular niche. I've heard you say travel, adventure, and explore, which kind of lends itself to a travel channel specifically. And then I'm looking down at a video that says exploring the new maps with an alien on it, and I have no idea what that has to do with your channel. And then the next videos I see Fortnite, which doesn't really seem to tie into what you got going on up here. So I would definitely think there's a disconnect between the type of content that you're making and the type of content you're telling people you're going to be making. So I would work on trying to find out what your passion is and what you actually want to make content about, and then stay focused on that particular content. And give me a moment here. Chris Conkle Vlogs in the live stream. Good to see you. All right, let's jump to the next channel. Oh, and hey, I did want to mention Dignity. Thank you very much for the super chat and taking over the stream boss position with that $10 super chat. And we're going to jump to the next channel here. And the next channel here is Corey Fiasco, which seems to be a Walt Disney World themed channel. Park vlogs, unboxings. Subscribe. Pin Fiasco Instagram. So again, if your goal is then trying to grow your YouTube channel, instead of just putting that icon here that says, or this image here that says subscribe, I would probably change, instead of doing a link to Instagram here, I would add an additional subscribe link, and encourage people to click the link to subscribe. But you can definitely tell by your channel art what you are doing content about, and then we just want to come down here and take a look at your videos. Oh, well, we'll look at your playlists first. Unboxing, Corey's Collectibles, and Pin Mail. Disney, definitely looks like you are staying true to your Disney content. And let's just see how we're doing here. Unboxing Disney pins, Disney World Haul. Definitely staying true to the Disney theme. You got your face up here so you can see that. Your icon's a little bit difficult to see. I would probably be more apt, instead of including this entire circle in here, something you may want to consider is maybe just doing a close-up of you wearing that shirt so people can say, hi, you know, so they can see the Disney connection, but they can also make out your face so you become part of your branding there. So the other thing that I would consider, the decision to decide whether or not they want to click on one of your videos is typically made between the thumbnail and the title. For that reason, it's my personal preference on your main page to do horizontal playlists versus these vertical lists, which show your video and your title and your description. I don't think in a lot of cases people are going to dive into the description of your video at a glance. So for that reason, I prefer the displays that just do the thumbnail and the title in the most efficient way possible, which for me personally is the horizontal playlist, which is why that is what I typically recommend trying on your channel page. So I would get each one of your playlists listed out here. It's going to give you 5 videos from each playlist to display. You're going to be able to add multiple playlists here and really give people the opportunity to skim your content and find stuff that may interest them and help you convert more subscribers who come and visit your page. So the other thing you may want to consider is, oh, before I say that, I'm sitting there on the video page. Uploads is good. Yeah, you're perfect here. I'm just on the wrong page. So this is exactly the way that you would want it. The only thing here I would change is the created playlist and like channel updates and things. Again, get your descriptions in there. But yes, this is perfect. This is exactly what you want it to be. I just don't know how to read page headings. So what are you going to do? Perfect. You got your intro video there, uploads, unboxing. Check out your descriptions here. Thumbnails, all for the most part, have your picture in them, so you are definitely building your brand with your face as part of your branding. Let me see what you got going on here in your About section. I'm Actually, now I'm curious, because this says you created the page in 2015. What kind of schedule are you on here? 1 day, 2 day, 4 days? See, I need to start doing live streams earlier. When I forget, or when I don't even know what page I'm on, it's probably time to start doing earlier live streams. I think I got heat stroke during that podcast earlier today. Yeah, I mean, you definitely seem to be doing regular content here. I'm surprised, given such a popular topic like Disney. I'm curious whether or not you had a break in there in those 2 years, or whether you've been making constant content all that time. Actually, let's see if we can take a look at... I may need to refresh this to get that to display. One of the other things that you get with TubeBuddy is this Videolytics. So you can go to anybody's video and it gives you some additional information about the actual video as well as the channel. It shows you all the tags that they use, their best practices, whether, you know, what they've done, what they haven't done. The only thing that I would wonder here is I just want to see. So Disney pins big see, that's Big Hero 6 and you've used Big Hero, let's see, Disney pins Big Hero. So I'm just, one of the things that I'm curious about that I'm looking at here is I see that you have some tags that are ranking, and what you want to do is not just get tags that are ranking, but get tags that are ranking that people are actually searching. So taking a look at, for example, Big Hero or Disney pins Big Hero 6, when I start to type that in to see what people are using, they're actually using Disney pins Big Hero 6. I'm curious about the I'm actually surprised there's not a bigger fan base for Disney related pins. So that one's ranking good. Your top 3. Ba-la-la-la-la-la. All right. For those of you who've seen the movie, know what I'm talking about. I get to listen to every Disney movie about 10,000 times because I have kids. Park vlogs, unboxings. I'm just curious because I see a lot of, yeah, pin stuff. I would just imagine that they're that the channel would be bigger after a couple years. So I'm curious if you kind of just focused everything recently. Let me know in the chat if you did, because consistent content like this over that amount of time, I would expect to see a lot more traction at this point. But it may be that you changed stuff recently. But I think you're on the right track in a lot of ways. All right. Let me jump in the chat here. See how many people made fun of me for talking about reorganizing the video page. It's a long day, all right? Let's see. Texas Style Barbecue and Cuisine, good to see you in the live stream as well. Real Estate Whisperer, good to see you also. Is my... All right. All right, moving on. All right, the next channel up is Elite Jamaica. Learn about Jamaica and Jamaicans. Elite Jamaica official channel. Got some very relatable colors here in your channel art and your icon. I'm just looking at your channel art and I'm a little bit confused by some of it. There's just because there's a mix of, I see images over here that are like really sharp shots, and then there's some pixelated stuff, and then really sharp, and then pixelated, and that might just be a style thing. I'm not sure, but it just kind of stands out trying to figure out what that particular part of the image is. But all right, so taking a look here, we've got your top video up here, uploads, created playlist, recent activities. So I would probably, again, my preference being the horizontal playlists. And I also actually, personally, I replace the uploads with my own custom playlist of recent activity. And then I tend not to do these created playlists. I mean, unless you have, and you may, you might have a ton of videos, and that may be effective for you, but looks like recently you've been doing some top 10s. Some of which have done very nicely for you. Always good to get 100,000 views in 5 days. So, taking, and let's see here, a week ago. I'm still wondering if you might be able to do something with your thumbnails that will allow people to know they're from your channel, if that's important to you. If you're trying to build the brand, the Elite Jamaica brand, or whether you just prefer that each one of your videos stands on its own. Just because when you're looking at videos like this, and then this, and even so this one, people may not know that they're all from the same channel. And if building that brand is something that you're trying to accomplish, that may cause a little bit of difficulty for people. Also on these profile videos, I might do something a little bit different. There's just the thumbnails are really busy with all the words and everything on them, and then the additional wording on top of it, it's just kind of comes off a little bit cluttered. Okay, again, playlist. Take a look at your playlists, which I know we've looked at your channel before. Definitely got a decent amount of videos out there. So, yeah, I mean, what I would probably do, again, focused on growth, is yes, you can have a thumbnail or a playlist up here that shows your most recent content, but I would also try to highlight some of your most successful content as well. So, instead of listing created playlists, I would list some of the actual playlists out as the single horizontal playlist. I would sort them by most views so people can see the really big popular videos that you have created. And I have a feeling there's probably a few of them out there. Let's see what we got going on here. Yeah, I mean, so you definitely have had some good hits on a lot of these videos. And the topics that you're covering are evergreen to a certain extent with the top 10 lists. So I would want to get those front and center on your channel page so people can see them and decide. So we got your top 10 richest musicians up here. But then we start to look from some of your more popular things down here, popular uploads you have. You have it kind of down here. Recent activities, I probably wouldn't have there. I wouldn't do created playlists. That's, again, just my personal preference. Because recent activities, above and beyond what you're doing, interacting with on other channels, is going to be the same thing as your uploads. If you're just showing recent activities for your channel, I would imagine they are identical to each other, and as you can see, they are. So that's kind of redundant, and when you have so much content to share with people, I would try to get as much of your content displayed to give people additional opportunities to engage with your content. So Here's a question. For those of you who can hear me, is that video frozen? Let me know, guys, if you can hear me, but if the video is frozen. And we'll try to fix that. Because on my side, it looks frozen. Yep, I can tell it's frozen. Hang on a moment. Bad things. All right. Give me just a moment, and I will remind you that this video is sponsored by TubeBuddy, the #1 browser plugin for managing and growing your YouTube channel. It's available to download for free, and there's a link in the description below. While you're taking a look at that, I'm going to try to figure out what is going on with my camera. Well, that is certainly a new one. We're going to have to do a little emergency fix here. Because I think we're having DSL problems. So give me 2 seconds. Because I have a solution for that. And let's see here. All right, so we're going to have to come back at slightly less quality because it appears to be the DSLR that lost its feed. But I do have a backup with the Logitech C920. So we are back, but the quality of the video might be slightly less because now we are on the webcam instead of the DSLR. But hey, what are you gonna do? That's something that is new. I haven't had that happen yet. I'm curious if the DSLR has overheated, but I know I've used it for 3 hours straight with no problem, so I'm gonna have to see exactly what it does, or what it did rather, and why it chose to overheat today. I mean, it is a little extra warm in here, so I don't know, but we'll figure it out. But we are back, and that is the important part. And let me move this back to where it was, and then we can continue on our path to additional live streams. So just checking in, Dignity holds the Stream Boss spot, which you can see in the upper left-hand corner. For those of you who are not familiar with the Stream Boss, it is kind of a fun way to incorporate Super Chat into a game on the channel, where you do damage to the Stream Boss by contributing via Super Chat. For every $1 tonight, it's doing 10 points of damage. That means a $10 Super Chat is going to knock Dignity out of the Stream Boss position and replace that channel with your channel to be displayed on the live stream for as long as you hold the Stream Boss position. So far, we have done several live or channel reviews, and we are heading our way to the next one. And we are going to take a sip of water. Windows updates. Well, yeah, you never really know. And let me take a look at something here. Bear with me for just a moment. All right. Okay. And let's see who's next here. All right. So the next channel we're going to take a look at is Little Gem Creations. That's not the right one, Daniel. That's the one. All right. Here we go. Little Gems Creations. So generally speaking, I can see we have kind of that art themed background. The one thing that I will say is that your channel art is not the right size because the top of your images and the bottom of your text is actually being cut off. That is something that you want to look at. There is actually a template out there that can help you get the proper dimensions on that. It's actually available. There's a link to it on my website. If you go to creatorfundamentals.com and click on the tools section, there will be the option to download the template. I did not create the template, someone else did. But it is widely used out there as a good resource, so you can definitely download it. Of course, it's free from the webpage just by clicking on it there on creatorfundamentals.com. So I would definitely recommend that you do that. Width-wise, you look like you'd be okay on mobile, so that's not a big deal. You just need to kind of adjust how it is framed. All right, so we definitely have the color scheme up here, kind of a pinks and reds and white up here, which... Looking at, first of all, your home page, definitely want to change the way your home page is displayed. Get rid of this all activities section and replace that with some horizontal playlists. And basically the way that works is when you go to modify your home page, at the bottom you have an option to add a section. And there you go into single or it's like single playlist horizontal, and select one of your playlists to display. So it just gets, like I said, more of your content available to people who can kind of skim it very quickly and see something that may interest them. So taking a look at your about, showcasing my creation, knit and crochet, tutorials, cooking, gardening, gaming, and sharing my pets with the world. Very to the point, Little Gems Creations 1, jewelry, and much more. And you're kind of including some pictures that give people some insight into what you're doing. A little broad in that sense, but like I said, you can grow with a wider channel. It just may take you a little bit longer than a channel that is super focused. And let's see what we got for playlists, crochet, toys, and more. Yeah, you definitely have some good playlists that you can display on your homepage, which will really give people some insight into what you're making content about. So I see you're using consistency in your branding here, but here's what I would say. You don't need to include the Little Gems Creation and a home crafting channel on your thumbnail. Also, the thing that pops out is your icon is completely different than everything else you have going on, and I'm not sure anybody would see the icon or your avatar and know it has anything to do with the channel and the channel art. So you definitely have the pinks that you're using here. I may try to incorporate that into your icon as well. And I would probably... I mean, you're being fairly consistent with the way you're doing your thumbnails. And you're kind of allowing the images to tell the story in that regard. But maybe I would look for... I don't know. I mean, it's kind of the way you're using your channel name, it is kind of working as branding for you. So, and you're consistent with it. So people can definitely tell your thumbnails are from your channel. But I may want to kind of... My thoughts on the thumbnails is that you kind of want the focus to be on those images themselves. In some cases, the images are kind of small. So I might consider a way to kind of, you know, maybe if you did this same background as your icon and you did something like LGC, and then on your thumbnails you did LGC or something as your branding, just as an example, that would give you much more room to do larger pictures of the actual craft that you were working on, which would just allow people to see, because they're kind of small here on desktop, which means they're going to be even smaller on mobile. And you want to, like I said, capture people's attention enough so, you know, by showing them what that craft is that you're working on and making it visible enough to them to want to actually click on it and see more. So I might work on trying to do that, try to minimize the space that Little Gem Creation this part takes, or maybe rewording that so it's not so wordy, and get your images bigger, the actual images of the projects a bit bigger. All right. Texas Style Barbecue and Cuisine. Got to run, Dan. Thanks for the info. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out. Appreciate it. All right. Start to get through some of these here. Next one up is Matt 10L. This channel is all about promoting realism in sports gaming. I primarily focus on footy games such as FIFA and Pro Evolution Soccer Series. My aim is to pursue the beauty of the sport in the video game versions that we are provided each year. Also post the most. All right. So, #1 source for realistic sports games. Right, and so the one thing that I'll say that just kind of jumps out at me, it looks like you used an image, a version of your channel art that kind of got stretched to fill in your icon, and I think you kind of lose the effect that it's the same value. I think you'd be better resizing this and getting it to fit in your icon a little bit better. But you are, you know, clear in what you're doing here. I would probably say this kind of looks, in all honesty, this channel art kind of looks like it was something that you kind of went on Fiverr or something to do, because there's things on here that I wouldn't include the social media in your channel art. And when you think about it, you have channel art here, you're on your YouTube page, but you're giving a link to the, or a reference to the YouTube page. And that's kind of the things that you see the people on Fiverr do to make your channel art look fancy. But the reality is you really don't need that stuff if you want to keep your Twitter and Twitch on there, perhaps, but you definitely don't need to have a reference to your YouTube channel because you're there. The other thing about this is I would say, personally, this tagline feels a little bit crowded against the information that's here. So I would probably try to create some spacing so they didn't overlap. It just doesn't look, it just kind of looks like it's squeezed in there awkwardly a little bit. So I try to create equal space above and below this line to kind of just make that feel more natural there. In terms of your actual videos and thumbnails, let's take a peek. Again, a lot of times with gaming, we see this type of approach where we're either taking screenshots from a game, and I don't know if you're actually... I've seen challenges like this for somebody who's actually like Well, let's see. Stream, is it? No, these are actually. Yeah, you're doing streaming content. Are any of these? Just trying to see if all your content is streaming content, and whether you have challenges because you're streaming everything from like a PS4 or something. Do you make any reference to that? In any event, even if you're somebody who is streaming from a PS4 or a, you know, some kind of gaming platform, I would definitely come in and try to add some more uniqueness to your thumbnails. Doing these same thumbnails over and over again with absolutely no variation in them for the particular games that you're playing doesn't really give people a reason to click on your thumbnails. You're going to get a lot, if you want to, you know, grow your channel, you're going to get a lot of traffic from you know, suggested videos and browse features and stuff. And I don't know that you're really providing a lot of information or encouragement for anybody except your subscribers to click on these. If it's somebody who happens to be subscribed and they like watching you play this particular game, they'll know that you're doing that game again. But you know, having all your thumbnails be exactly the same like this is probably going to confuse your viewers. And there's nothing. These are literally the same exact thumbnail and name. So I just think that's going to create a lot of confusion for people. I would imagine that most of your views on these are coming from the people who came over to watch the videos based on the notifications that you sent out. And I think by changing that and, you know, giving people a reason to click on your your videos outside of your actual subscribers, you can do much better than you're doing. Again, playlists, all FIFA, same kind of deal. And again, when you come back to your home screen and you start to think about sharing content that people can look at, you know, latest videos, there's nothing between these two that let people know that they're different. They look exactly the same. So I would try to find ways to mix that up and identify more specifically what it is that you're sharing with people. All right, this next one we're going to do pretty quick. It is a newer channel, Path of the Bee. Obviously, the channel art suggests that this is an individual or company that makes their own honey, just based on the labels on the honey containers, and also the icon that shows a beekeeper. So I am imagining that that is what the channel is about. Now, the one thing that I see on your thumbnails, I actually see that logo that you're using on the bottles here. I would actually include that logo over the top of this background, a nice big logo that shows your brand and Path of the Bee, and I would include that in your channel art and not just rely on this background image of the bottles. The other thing is that your thumbnails are basically repeating your titles on them with the wording here, which is really not necessary. They're too wordy. The words aren't going to be able to be read on a small screen. And I think I'm looking at this, that font kind of reminds me of maybe something that you might be pulling out of TubeBuddy. That could certainly be one of the fonts that's available on the free version of TubeBuddy. One of the things you can do excuse me while I have a coughing fit. So one of the things that you want to consider, first of all, is having less words on your... Hang on here. Why is this? Get back there. All right. So less words on your actual thumbnails, and try to focus in on the actual topic and reduce the amount of words. So this is how to put a beehive together. You know, so maybe you change the text to build a hive, or, you know, just some way to just attract attention so people can see what the content is about. You definitely want to get a lot less words going on there, and you don't want to just repeat the title because that just becomes redundant and doesn't really help you convert here. So the other thing that I would do on a lot of these is I would try to make the thumbnail more about the image that you're sharing rather than the icon and the title. Here, the picture that you're sharing kind of becomes an afterthought or a background to the actual you know, branding and name. So I might consider maybe taking your icon here and moving it down into the corner, and then try to find, you know, some very minimal text that kind of explains the focus of the video. And also when you get stuff like these, aren't too bad, but my only concern with video or font like this on a really light background is when that gets small, that might be hard to read. One of the things that you can do to compensate for that is to add like darker bars of color behind the font. But you definitely want to focus on coming up with more creative ways to identify the content in much fewer words on the thumbnails themselves than simply repeating your title. And I think that'll help you a lot to attract more attention to your channel and your content. And I think this is a topic that people are probably truly interested in. It's just a matter of getting your content out in front of people in the right way to get them to click on the videos and visit your channel. And again, just like all the other channels that we've looked at, you definitely want to get some horizontal playlists or at the very least just more content spread out on your main homepage. All right, let me pull up this next channel here on mobile. See if I can find it. Which I can never find it on here. Guess we'll have to save that for another time. Next channel is Guy the IT Guy. Reviews, opinions, and tutorials. Take a look here at the about. All right, so when we go to your description or your about section, it says channel is about reviewing games that appear on the Android TV system. And I also review older games, emulated, Raspberry Pi, etc. So I think that's very specific information that people who are potentially going to subscribe to your channel want and need to know. So instead of just saying reviews, because you could have reviews, opinions, and tutorials about toasters or cars or tools or food. So you're not really providing them with enough information in your channel art to understand why they would subscribe to your channel. So I would kind of find a way to streamline this information that you have in your description, provided that your description is current in terms of the type of content that you're going to make, and try to include that in your channel art you know, in such a way that people can actually have a proper expectation about what kind of videos you're going to make. So now that we see the two things you do here, let's just double take a look at the actual content you've made recently. How to add a microphone to any DSLR and not have to sync audio anymore. That's kind of like a general tech review, or you know, a tech how-to. James Bond GoldenEye. I don't know if this MUA, or is it MuPen, or however that's pronounced, is a particular operating system. Freebie Fridays, Soulcraft, Kirby 64. So yeah, I think you want to kind of hill climb for Android TV. Yeah, I would try to find a way to identify the particular systems that you're focused on, or the types of games that you're focused on doing reviews, and maybe try to adjust your channel art accordingly. Also, you are you have your icon, your icon here, which is Guy the IT Guy, but again, the relationship between the icon and your channel art seems to be lost. I mean, you have this kind of this modern corporate kind of logo going here for your name, and it doesn't really tie in a lot with the style that you have going on up here. So there's kind of a disconnect there. I like that you have been consistently including it in your thumbnail so people can actually see that these videos are from your channel, which is great. But I still feel like you could kind of think about how to really focus in on the branding of your channel and the message that you're trying to deliver, and setting the proper expectation in your channel art as to the type of content that people will get if they choose to subscribe. Because ultimately that's what you want them to know. It's like, if I subscribe to your channel, I'm going to get cat videos, you know, so you need to make sure that you're delivering cat videos, or whatever your topic is. And I still think that you have some opportunity to kind of tweak your channel art to more precisely articulate what the expectation is in terms of the type of content that you are sharing. All right. All righty. All right, the next channel we're going to look at I'm trying to figure out how this is supposed to be pronounced. Havoical? Havoical? I'm not really sure how that's supposed to be pronounced. So, the thing that jumps out, the goal on YouTube is to provide value to an audience to the point where they want to subscribe to your channel to receive more of that value. When you see channel art like this, which is subscribe at the top, in this fashion, it kind of lends itself to asking for something before anything has been delivered. So you want people to subscribe to the channel, of course you do. But I don't know that it should be like one of the most prominent parts of your channel art. And I'm also, the other concern I have is that I have no idea how to pronounce your channel, which is going to make it that much easier for me to tell somebody about your channel if I like it and I want them to check it out. You know, is it Havoical or is it Havoical? I don't really know what it's supposed to say. And then your description is, hey guys, this channel is gaming all games. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Well, you haven't really done a proper job of explaining the value, and then you jump right into asking people to do something here. And then you go into, hey, go over to Instagram also. I think you really need to focus on delivering the value to people rather than focusing on the fact that you want to grow your channel. So I definitely think there's a lot of room there that you can improve on. Also, your icon here doesn't have anything to do with, or anything noticeable, at least to me, to do with your channel art. So there's a disconnect there between what you're doing there and what you're doing in your channel art. And if we go and we look at your videos, Arc Official Base Tour, is this a game? I'm not even sure. All right, so definitely need to fix some things here. Here, let's just take a look, just an example here. So you have no description other than enjoy the video and subscribe, like, yeah, you got to kind of rethink your entire approach to what you're trying to do here. Because when I read this, it's all about what your audience can do for you and not what kind of value you're delivering to your audience. And that's going to make it really hard for you to grow your channel. Also, you need to watch some videos on how to do tag research. Because single word tags are never going to get you ranked in search. So you have a lot of material to absorb and watch to learn how that whole process works, and there's plenty of content out there. I just want to see. So here you have a 29-second video where a third of it is your intro. And as you can see, people are not responding to that very pleasantly. And let's see how 1 week, 1 week, 1 week, 2 weeks, 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 3 weeks. Yeah, and the other thing, I mean, there's the urgent. So my question is, if this is you, if you are, you look kind of young there. If that is in fact you, can't tell because there's this thumbnail of some other random person, and I can't, you guys certainly don't look like the same person, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. But in any event, definitely a lot of work to do. Definitely watch some videos on how to grow on YouTube, how to do branding and whatnot. You can definitely search on Creative Fundamentals to watch those videos and learn how to do those things. There's a bunch of different things you can do to help improve your channel. And alrighty. Jumping in the chat here real quick. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Is it supposed to say weekly or weekly? Kimmy Vapes, been watching your videos for some time now. Just want to say thank you. Your videos have helped me better understand YouTube and how to make my channel more appealing. Awesome. Great to hear. I appreciate you watching the channel. Kids Online channel, good to see you as well. Oh, Matt 10L, thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks for the review, Dan, and the awesome community of creators. We'll definitely work on it. Got to go watch Westworld with the wifey. Take care. Thank you to Matt 10L. I appreciate it. All right, so that was that. And the next channel we are going to do is Michael Bloom. All right, so I think I saw Michael Bloom that he mentioned he was kind of going for a simplistic approach here. It just says my perspective, plus or minus, I think is what he's kind of going for there. Very generalized statement. I see a camera in his icon. Still don't know really what he's making content about. We go into the About section. I show events and tell stories through making videos. My name is Michael, and I've been making videos here on YouTube since 2010. After finding what I really enjoyed, I'm here to stay on this channel. So you say on this channel that you're trying to make videos that you're passionate about, but you don't really ever explain what you're passionate about. Let's take a look and see at your videos and see. I mean, the first thing I notice is the infrequency of uploads. It's been 3 weeks since you actually uploaded a video. And we got video. My name is Michael, a channel trailer. Goodbye, Shaq. I don't care. The correct way to dip. All right, so I gotta look here because I feel like, yeah, we looked at this last week, right? I think we looked at this last week and we talked about kind of the generalness of the content and kind of how it was all over the place. The other thing that I'm noticing, let me just see here. All right, so I think that one of the biggest things or the biggest lessons to learn here in trying to grow a channel is consistency. Trying to find a schedule that you can continually make videos on a regular basis. I think your consistency could use a little bit of improvement here. I also don't know, just based on the total number of videos you have let's see here. I don't know if you deleted previous videos, but I'm looking at and 9, 12, 13, 14. 2,600 subscribers on 14,000 views is a pretty good conversion rate. 16,000. So I'm a little curious there. But yeah, I would definitely say consistency is a big deal. I don't think this simplistic approach is really... I think it's a little too abstract to really encourage people to subscribe to your channel. You know, unless you're creating content that is just blowing people away, that they're sharing, and you're driving all your traffic based on the videos and shares and things. I think you'd still want to kind of offer some actual perspective and not just the theory of perspective, and provide some information to people in terms of the type of content that you make. Otherwise, I mean, you can just continue to make individual videos. It just, from a branding perspective, you're going to have trouble kind of letting people know that any of these videos are all from the same channel. So if you're just doing it to make videos, that's cool. It looked like, based on that last video, you're a little bit younger. So it's definitely a great practice to just keep making videos and learning how to improve over time. But I would also try to incorporate a little bit of understanding about how YouTube works and how to promote your videos. Like right here, the only thing you have in your tags is your name and variations of your name. So the reality is unless somebody's actually searching for you specifically, you're not going to get a lot of people to find your content. So that's just something to consider there. But definitely keep making content and making movies and improving over time. And, you know, maybe find some ways to incorporate some type of branding that lets people know that these are your actual videos. All right, so all right, so yeah, I think we are wrapped up on the channel reviews for tonight. For those of you who come in late, the best thing I can recommend is try to get here earlier if you really want to get your channel reviewed. I know it's very often the case that people kind of swing in at the very tail end of the live stream and try to get their channels reviewed. But by then it's kind of too late in that regard, just because there's already a ton of people that we reviewed and a ton of people in the list. And unfortunately, as much as I might like to, I can't do every single channel, or I would be doing this all night. So I think we're definitely going to wrap this up for the evening. Good to see everybody. Sorry we had the little camera malfunction, but we seem to have gotten past that without too much trouble. Again, don't forget, guys, if you haven't tried TubeBuddy, try TubeBuddy. It is free. You can download it, use the plugin and everything. And if you have any questions, you can definitely check us out on Facebook and the Facebook group, Creative Fundamentals Facebook group, to pose those questions, ask other people that use it, or anything about your channel. And for those of you who are familiar with the live stream, when we end the live stream, we head over to the Discord live stream after party. It's a channel in the Creative Fundamentals Discord where we kind of talk for a little while following the live stream in a less formal, if you want to call this formal, environment. So it gives me an opportunity to still interact with you guys, but not have to talk, because after 2-3 hours of talking, I kind of don't want to do it so much anymore, because the throat gets really dry and all that. But anyway, that's all for tonight, and I will keep talking until I'm actually able to get to the screen where I where I can end the live stream, because when my camera died, all kinds of stuff got misplaced. But I will be over there at the Discord. That is the link that I just put in the chat. Y'all can have a race to see who gets over there and says hello first. And I will sign off of this live stream in theory. Have a good night, everybody.